To wrap up our discussions on animation, we're going to talk a little bit about ASCII art. So what ASCII art is, it's a type of art style that uses characters or symbols that you can type in on your keyboard. It's not going to be the fantastic images that you download from the internet or get from your webcam. Okay, it's going to be simplistic graphics that you can get from typing symbols in on your keyboard. So there are resources online where you can get these type of images. So if you just go to Google and type in ASCII art and take a look at the first result that comes back, which is the ASCII Art Archive, we can go in there and take a look at some of the artwork that you can find there. So clicking in on that, you should get this page here. Let's take a look at all these different categories that are presented to us. Let's just take a look at animals, for instance. And let's just take a look at dogs. And so you can see some examples here, right? So I'm just going to pick this one here. So you can see this picture of a dog is made up of backslashes and O's and dots and that type of thing. So we're going to talk about how we can get Python to display this type of artwork in your programs. And you can use this in your Final Adventure game or in other assignments as you go through. So the way we display this type of ASCII art is we're just going to highlight all of those symbols there like that and then copy it. So Command or Control C to copy that. We're going to go back to our editor, and if we paste that ASCII art into our editor there, you can see those symbols translated into our code. So obviously this doesn't work when we try to run it because this is not code. The way that we can get Python to display this is simply by using the print function again. So there are going to be two ways that we're going to cover how to do this. The first way is just to print every single line of ASCII art by itself. Okay, so the thing to remember here is you just need to be super aware of any spaces that start off each line of ASCII art. So this first line, you can actually see there's a couple of spaces, two spaces there that are used to position its head. Okay, so when we print that line, so I'm just going to move my cursor right to the left-hand edge, type print, open up the brackets, and then delete the extra quotation marks and brackets. I just need to make sure that those spaces are preserved after the first quotation mark. Okay, so I'm just going to do a print, open up the quotation mark, and then close the quotation mark at the end. So what we've done is we've taken each line of that dog and we've kind of sandwiched it between the print function and quotation marks. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and do the same thing here. So there's the print, there's the print, there's the print, and then close it off with the quote and closing brackets like that. And if you've done it correctly, you can kind of see that image of the dog preserved there between all those print statements. Okay, so if we run this, we now can see that dog appear on the output of our screen. So that's one way to do that. This can get tedious, however, if the ASCII art is very big. So if there's like 100 lines of ASCII art, you'll have to type print in front of 100 lines of code, which can get quite tiring. So another way of displaying ASCII art is a special technique that only requires you to use one print statement. So if I just restore the original dog like this, the way to do it with just one print statement is just to type print, open up the brackets. Okay, I'm just going to delete that second bracket there. So in Python, there's a special type of quote that you can use to represent some text that appears exactly as it should on the screen. So instead of using a double quote, it's going to be a triple single quote. Okay, so what that means is I'm going to type the single quote, okay, and I'm going to type it 3 times. So you can see 3 single quotes there, and you'll notice if you've done that correctly that the rest of the screen will go yellow. Okay, so when Python sees 3 single quotes, it's going to treat everything afterwards as a piece of text, even if it goes across multiple lines. Okay, so then we're going to go to the end of the dog and then close off those triple quotes and then close off the bracket like that. Instead of sandwiching every line of the dog between print statements, we're just going to put the whole dog in between 2 triple quotes. And the last thing we need to do here is add a small r in front of the first set of quotes like that. That small r means it's a raw piece of text. The r stands for raw, and it just allows for backspaces to be handled properly if you happen to have backspaces in your ASCII art. Okay, so if we do that and run it now, you'll see exactly the same output, but you've only got one print statement. Okay, so the other nice thing about this, if we go back to the ASCII art archive and we choose another piece of ASCII art, so let's go down here and take a look at maybe these guys, okay, these two doggies here. So if I copy all of that, just like I did before, and go back to my editor, to display that, all I need to do is just highlight all the piece of text between those triple quotes and just paste in the new ASCII art. You'll notice that the first line looks a little bit off, and that's okay because of all these extra symbols we have for the print function at the beginning. But if we run this now, you should see that new ASCII art appear on the screen. So with this, by combining the ASCII art that we have now learned to display with the clear and the sleep functions to simulate the flipbook animation, we can do some simple animation with ASCII art. So as an example, let's just see if we can make these dogs blink at us. Maybe it's hungry or looking for some attention. So the way we do that is we follow the same technique. We're going to sleep for a little bit. So it pauses, the user can see it, and then we're going to clear the screen and then redisplay the ASCII art with a small animation change. So let's just replace its eyes with hyphens. So it's blinking, so it's closing its eyes for a little bit, like that. Okay, and then we're going to sleep a little bit again so we can see its eyes closed. Clear the screen. Clear the screen. Notice that there's a little bit of it's automatically indented, so I just have to make sure all the code is lined up correctly on the left-hand edge. And then we're just going to redisplay those dogs again with its eyes open, like that. We've got 3 frames of animation. Let's run this. Okay, you can kind of see it's blinking. Maybe it's a little bit slow. Let's make it 0.2 of a second. Okay, there we go. The dogs are blinking at us. All right, so that's how we can use ASCII art, combine that with our sleep and clear functions to animate it and do some cute little effects using Python.